Howdy, y'all. My name is Telios. Now, the other day, it was 3 in the morning, and I was thinking about Dark Souls, which, for me, is, a pretty normal activity. And I came to a realization. There are 26 bosses in Dark Souls, and everyone has an opinion on them, especially when you're trying to figure out which boss is better than others. Now, when people rank these bosses, they usually consider things like, their lore, their strength, their gameplay mechanics, how fair they're considered, how fun they have when they're playing it, etc., etc. Now, here's the thing. Those criteria are absolute garbage, because they only apply when you're playing in the game. But what about, right now? I'm not playing Dark Souls, so I don't care about their lore or about how fair they are in a fight or how much fun I'm having when I fight them. No, no, no. The only criteria that actually matters is their social ability. Specifically, how fun are they to go drinking with in a bar? Now, I, of course, have never actually stepped foot in a bar, which makes me the perfect person to do this ranking. So without further ado, let's go. So first you have your Asylum Demon. Now, you didn't actually agree to meet him at the bar. He just kinda showed up. And it wasn't exactly a pleasant surprise, since he's your parole officer. He's here to watch you, and reminds you that you aren't actually allowed to drink as part of being on parole. He sits uncomfortably close to you, and just drinks the entire night, simply to rub in the fact that you can't. His ranking is F. Now we have the Taurus Demon. So he carries you to the bar. Then you don't need to use your car. Very considerate. He also makes the bouncer look small by comparison, and is easily the loudest person in the bar. He breaks the local record for the most beer consumed in an hour, then starts a bar fight, and ends it instantaneously. Honestly, really fun night. Ranking A. Now, you recognize the gargoyle by its cool hat. They are the local party animal and completely famous for drunken stories and wild nights. About halfway through the night, their friend shows up, and their friend is just as cool as they are. They start a dance-off, and it is legendary. Ranking S. The Capra Demon, you think, is the Taurus Demon's less fun relative. It might be like a distant cousin, you can't quite remember. Now, he never actually talks. He just kind of awkwardly stares at everyone in the bar, including the bartender. He actually ends up getting you kicked out of the bar because he refuses to leave his dogs outside, and they start biting people. Ranking F. Now, everyone stares at the Gaping Dragon, at least usually. The Gaping Dragon, of course, doesn't mind, because it's already completely wasted. See, when the night started, it had its drink. As the night went on, it had your drink. And then it had every single drink in the bar. Like, every drink. There are no drinks left. You might think this would kill the mood, but it was absolutely fascinating to watch. Ranking D. Quelaag is infamous at this bar. You see, she has no interest in talking to you unless you are wearing a ring, which, of course, is suspicious as hell, to say the least. People report that she's a good conversationalist, but she buys twice the normal amount of drinks. One for her, one for the spider. She then charges all the drinks to your tab at the end of the night. Ranking D. The Iron Golem is always a fun time. A bar crawl with him starts off pretty solid. He's really chill, but about partway through the night he starts to wobble on his feet. You don't think too much of it until he's had 17 drinks and then starts picking up people and throwing them out the windows. Honestly, the fun that you have from witnessing that almost makes the lifetime ban from the bar worth it. Ranking B. The Moonlight Butterfly rarely sits still. Instead, it drifts from table to table, making small talk and swiping drinks from people. However, it always circles back to your table and leaves the leftover drinks there. While it's unpopular with the regulars, it saves you plenty of money. Ranking C. Priscilla never actually drinks. Instead, she is the designated driver and the self-proclaimed mom friend. She's always good to have around, but can be a little overbearing with her constant reminders to watch your limits, and her insistence that the loud drunk is actually peaceful and kind. Ranking C. Gwendolyn has exactly half a beer, gets hammered, and tries to tear it up on the dance floor. What actually ends up happening is that he runs into someone, curses him, and suddenly the bar is an infinite room. This does have the unintended side effect of making several people quit drinking on the spot, everyone else drinking significantly less, and at the end of the night, everyone is a little bit healthier and more sober than they would have been. Ranking A. Ornstein kills the mood immediately by declaring that a noble knight like himself cannot impair himself while on duty, and that it would be shameful for him to imbibe any mind-altering substances. Smo then revives the mood by grabbing a handle of vodka from the bar and chugging it all in one go. Ranking S. The stray demon is just your parole officer in a cheap mustache. He sits in the corner of the bar, stares at you intently, and is clearly waiting for you to slip up. On the one hand, incredibly awkward, very uncomfortable. On the other hand, he's at least leaving you alone and not talking to you. Ranking F. Pinwheel shows up to the bar with all three of his regular masks replaced with Mardi Gras masks. When questioned, he states that he wants to show his wild side. He proceeds to fall asleep after one hard seltzer. You use the opportunity to draw on his face with Sharpie. Ranking B. A Night with Nito starts off well. He's pretty quiet, but he's buying drinks and everyone seems to be having a good time. Eventually, though, the bartender asks him and his friends to leave because the skeletons are kind of starting to freak everyone out. Nito responds to this by grabbing the bartender and extracting his soul. Ranking D. Ceaseless Discharge walks into the bar, sets it on fire, and accidentally burns it down with you inside. You make it out alive, and you get a healthy payday from the lawsuit that you file against him. Ranking A. The centipede demon shows up, and the bar owner gets a complaint. The bar is then shut down so an exterminator can come and fumigate it. You are not allowed inside until the process is complete. You never got to order a drink. You are very unhappy. Ranking F. The demon fire sage is your parole officer's older brother. He's loud, obnoxious, and thinks he has more power than he actually has. Not to mention, he is full of self-importance. The one positive thing for him, though? He doesn't care if you have any drinks. Ranking D. You invite the Bed of Chaos to the bar. You get there first, and you wait 45 minutes for it to show up. It never does. As you're leaving, you find out why. It's actually outside at the bar entrance, punching a bunch of random people. The bouncer is clearly trying to get in close, but can't quite make it. However, after some patience, the bouncer is able to get in close, punch the Bed of Chaos, and knock it out with one hit. Ranking F. Sif. Sif shouldn't be here. You should never give alcohol to a dog. Ranking F. The Four Kings. On the one hand, they are consuming the humanity of the other bar patrons, which is easily the most horrifying thing you've ever seen in your entire life. On the other hand, they're giving you the leftover drinks from their victims free of charge. Ranking B. Seath mutters something incoherent about immortality and his studies whenever you offer him a drink. You finally convince him to try one. Suddenly, he opens up and is the life of the party. He has 3 more drinks and may have accidentally made everyone at the bar immortal. Ranking A. The Sanctuary Guardian never actually showed up to the bar. That makes sense given that, when you invited it, it struck you with lightning, poisoned you, and then flew away. Ranking F. Artorias is curious about drinking because he's never actually tasted alcohol. He does one shot and then does a front flip. He takes a second shot and does another flip. This continues all night. He has such a good time, he covers the tab entirely. Ranking S. Calamy acts aloof and distant, which is strange considering he invited you to the bar. He actually sits at a different table, glares at you all night long, although he does occasionally send you drinks. Of course, these drinks just serve as a reminder that Calamy is watching you because he hates you. The next morning, he uses his psychic powers to remind you of all the embarrassing things you did while drunk. Ranking. B. Manish drinks an absurd amount, like enough to kill everyone else in the bar. People begin to question if he can even get drunk. You make several $100s based off these bets and on the drinking games that people are playing with him. At the end of the night, everyone else is unconscious and he's the last man standing. Ranking. S. And lastly, Gwyn. Gwyn starts the night looking like a feeble, frail old man. However, with every drink, he gets invigorated. He has a strange obsession with only ordering the flaming shots, but everyone rolls with it. After about 20 of these, he declares himself a god. Given that he's been pretty chill and has been buying drinks for everyone else in the bar, everyone cheers and rolls with it. Ranking. S. And here you have it. Here is my clear, concise, and objective boss tier list. This is the definitive ranking of every boss in Dark Souls, and I will not be hearing any arguments. And I can personally vouch for each and every person on this list because I've gone drinking with every single one of them. You think I haven't? Then go ahead and prove me wrong. In the meantime, for those of you who do believe me, tell me, which of these bosses would you want to go drinking with? Thank you so much for watching the video. I promise the next one will be back to regular challenge runs. Until then, remember that you're awesome, and the world is a better place with you in it. Later.